Yeah, it's Pancho, and let's jump into today's news. Metro Boomin wants some more. Y'all know the rest of that tag, okay? So listen, this is what we have here in today's news. Today we have Metro Boomin being named Producer of the Year by Variety Magazine, and you know what? They're not wrong. If we stretch all the way back to November of 2022 on Drake's Her Loss album, he produced a song More M's, which is an absolute banger of an instrumental. If you really listen to the instrumental, it has like this dark tone with that. I don't even know what you want to categorize it under as, like a synth or something. Anyway, it says the BPM, but then you have these nice hi-hats that adds like this fast tempo, which then makes it feel like a fast record to hop onto, but it's not. It slows down fairly quickly, but it makes sense how it slows down. Then you have the bass that kicks in later on, and just the way that the record reads overall is just well put together, of course, instrumentally. A month later, in December of 2022, Heroes and Villains released, which is an amazing piece of work he put together. One of the many things I love about Metro, one of the many things I love about Metro is the storytelling instrumentally. When you're listening to his albums from front to back, they aren't just put together. Everything is carefully placed and even transitions from one song to the next so flawlessly. One of the many things I love about Metro is One of the many things I love about Metro is the storytelling instrumentally. When you're listening to his albums from front to back, they aren't just put together. Everything is carefully placed and even transitions from one song to the next so flawlessly. He does it so well that it makes you wonder if it's the same song, maybe different bridges or something but of course it's not. Another thing he does great at is executing project concepts. Another thing he does great at is executing project concepts. My guy had Morgan Freeman narrating Heroes. My guy had Morgan Freeman narrating on his Heroes and Villains album. Like, come on. Who else can make that who else can make that work out? Another thing he does great at is executing project concepts. My guy had Morgan Freeman narrating on his Heroes and Villains album. Like, come on. Who else do you know that can make that happen? In May 26th of this year, then in May then in May 20, then on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Metro produced then in May then in May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Metro produced War About It featuring 21 Savage and the song Grandson. On June 2nd, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse on June on on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Then on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Metro produced the song War About It featuring 21 Savage and Grandson. On June 2nd of this year, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack was uploaded, with it being executively produced. On May 26th, on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Metro produced War About It featuring 21 Savage and Grandson. Then on June 2nd, Then on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Then on May 26th of this year, 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Then on May 26th of this year, Lil Durk drops his Almost Healed album. Metro produced the two songs on there called War About It featuring 21 Savage and Grandson. Then on June 2nd, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack was uploaded, with that whole thing being produced by Metro himself. I'm not a movie soundtrack person. Listen, I'm not a movie soundtrack person, all right? But this one right here, French kiss or Italian kiss or whatever that call they call that thing the mwah. It's I honestly just put it on just for a casual listen. That album goes so hard, all right. Then about 3 weeks later, Young Thug uploads his Business is Business album. Metro is listed as him producing 9 of the 15 songs. Then of course there's the other Business of Business. About 3 weeks later, Young Thug uploaded his Business is Business album, with Metro listing about 3 weeks later. About 3 weeks later, Young Thug uploaded his Business is Business album, with Metro being listed as producing 9 of the 15 songs. And of course, there's the separate Business is Business album of Young Thug, with that whole thing being done by Metro. Next up here, after years of waiting, Travis Scott's Utopia album finally released, with Metro producing Till Further Notice. And lastly, Kodak Black's recent album, Mr. And lastly, Kodak Black's recent album, Mr. Boomin. And lastly, Kodak Black's recent album, Mr. Boomin, produced 2 of those songs. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone, but the work Boomin is putting in is like, come on. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone else, but the work Boomin is putting in is insane. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone, but the work Boomin is putting in is insane. Like, come on. There's no competing with this guy. A lot of what these magazines post about this person or that person being whatever they want to recognize them at the end of the year is honestly so much of a troll and just false. But Variety got this right, and I really appreciate that, and I respect that. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone, but the work Mr. Boomin is putting in is it? Like, come on. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone, but the work Boomin is putting in is insane. There's no competing with this guy. Like, come on. Like, come on, not to discredit anyone, but the work Boomin is putting in is insane. There's no competing with this guy. Come on. Like, a lot of what these magazines post about this or that person being whatever they want them to recognize, a lot of what these magazines post about this or that person being whatever they want them to recognize them for, the person of the year in whatever category, is very untrue a lot of the times, and it can be very argumentative. However, with this statement here about Metro being producer of the year is the most accurate statement I've seen in a magazine in a very long time. So I really do appreciate that, and I really do respect that statement. So congrats to Metro. On his recognition from Variety. Please like this video, share it with everyone you know, and subscribe to the channel. Shout out Fat Joe, soy Pancho y